I've been a lawyer for more than 10 years, and it was a wonderful love-hate relationship. Somehow, there was always this feeling that I'm missing on something more creative, more colorful, more spicy. The reasons why I became a lawyer were, I guess, relevant back then, but over time, they have lost their relevance. So there was always this tiny little voice in my head saying that maybe, just maybe.
And then the pandemic started, and the little voice became louder, and louder, and louder.
How do you make that jump possible? Well, because of that little voice inside your head, your brain will sooner or later start focusing on the information which is relevant for this craving you have inside you. To put it simple, the universe will start giving you signs. And your job is to notice those signs. Because you know what? Once you turn your attention on them, they will turn into opportunities. Magic. Back to 2020. Remember when you were stuck in your apartment and were happy to go out to buy some groceries? Everyone had a different coping strategy at the time, and for me, salvation came with learning new stuff. I think I took all of the upskilling courses for lawyers that my company offered, coding for beginners, big data, blockchain, and I instantly got hooked by UX. Once I have emptied the jar with those free online courses for lawyers, I have started digging further, and eventually I found an introduction to UX course on Open Classrooms. I still have a certificate on my LinkedIn account. My boss also generously accepted to finance a one-week course offered by General Assembly, and because I have a memory of a goldfish, I don't remember the cost of it. That was in November 2020. Right in the middle of you-know-what, and when I was still in denial, thinking that by the end of the year, everything would get back to normal. The next step was networking. I typed UX in the search engine of my company's people's directory and came across a name of a manager of a UX team in the parent company. She accepted talking to me, gave some pieces of advice, and also connected me to other people who were willing to make a transition to a UX designer. Paris is way too noisy. 2021 came, I was working on an extremely stressful and time-consuming project, and that was when Macron announced yet another lockdown. And that was it. I knew that it was time to change something.
So I took a flight to Ibiza and spent 3 weeks working with a view on the Mediterranean Sea.
Best decision ever. That was also the time when I realized that you should never postpone stuff. Like, never ever. Be it a surf camp in Bali, starting a YouTube channel, or changing professions. I did 2 out of 3. By that time, I knew that my company was thinking of creating a UX team, so I called the Chief Informational Officer of my company and asked for a job shadowing experience. And he said yes, and I did the job shadowing. And then this happened.
You want a job, Ernie? Sure, Tony. Okay, then you call me tomorrow.
Hey, man, you got a job, huh?
It was completely unexpected, and I almost cried. So that was in October 2021, and I was expecting to start a new job by the end of the year. But then the HR god said, not today. So overall, my transition from lawyer to UX designer lasted for about 5 months. I won't lie to you. During all this time, I was asking myself, aren't you too old for this change? What if you fail? What about all this experience that you gain as a lawyer? And what about the Paris and New York bars that you passed through blood and tears? And then this sign came. My toddler has broken a USB key with all my legal precedents. Like, all the contracts that I have ever drafted as a lawyer are now gone. And at first, I yelled internally. But then I thought, isn't it a sign from the universe telling me that my legal life is soon to be over and that I just have to let go?
En fait, je vais quitter Pierre dans quelques semaines. Et... oui, et en fait, je quitte le juridique tout court.
Oh, I have just received a transfer document from the HR department for me to sign. It's basically a one-pager which states the financial conditions which I currently have and which are normally transferred to my new job. Everything looks fine, so approved.
Back to 2020.
Oh,
The next step was networking.
there's the bus again. 2021 came and